Do you want to learn everything about how to make a game? And I mean really everything. When you make a game, you have to start somewhere. In most role-playing games, that is the combat system. You walk around the world and encounter different kinds of enemies that you mostly battle using melee combat, that is sword and shield. Any combat system is highly dependent on animations. How do you make a player walk? How do you make him run, to fight and jump and do all the things he needs to do in the game? So how do you make the actual gameplay? You can either use traditional programming in a language where you write down everything as text, or visual scripting. The main character is the protagonist of the game. It's what the player identifies with, what the player controls, and the means with which the player interacts with the world. And it's really difficult to make a good character. It's a very long process. You need a basic knowledge of anatomy to create something that has the right proportions. And you need to be able to sculpt all the details of the face. You need to create a groom for the hair and beard, and even small things like the eyebrows and the eyelashes. And of course you need to dress the character. Create the leather, create the fabric, create the strings, and all the props like the swords and everything the player carries. If you want to make proper skin, you will need a good shader with subsurface scattering. And it really has to look really convincing. And some effects are always cool. It's a lot of work. Then we have the game world, where the player spends all his time. To make things a little bit easier, I decided to do everything procedurally. The layout of the dungeon and all the modules that make up the dungeon are procedurally generated. You can easily change the size of things and how things look. One of the more fun things to do is destruction. The game world is not just something that should be nice to look at. It also has to work with gameplay. For example, how big should a doorway be so that the player can easily pass through it? Opening and closing doors is itself a part of gameplay, as are all the items scattered around the game world. So where do I put all these items? And the obvious answer is chest. So there will be a lot of chests in the game. And I can't model every single chest by hand. And the obvious answer to this is, as always, do it procedurally. And just like doors, they can be opened and closed, and are an important part of the gameplay mechanics. The player spends a lot of time inside medieval dungeons. And dungeons are dark places. We are going to need a lot of torches. So I made a torch generator. And a torch needs fire. Fire is one of the main pillars of visual effects, and it's really fun thing to do. You combine different fields, like a density field, a heat field, a temperature field. And the result is a burning flame. When you put all these pieces together, you end up with a playable level. You start to see the whole picture. As opposed to a movie, a game is an interactive experience. So everything has to be drawn on screen in real time. And for this I created my own custom render pipeline. The battle system is the core mechanic. But on top of that, I want to add something more. I want a story. So I created a dialogue system.
Hello there, lad. Will you be so kind and do a little favor for me?
Yeah.
Thanks.
As for music, I just had to compose it myself. It's a long journey, but it's a rewarding journey. At the end of the road, you can sit down and play a game and know that you made everything all by yourself.